Hello, my loves. Day 63 of the God Wants to Talk to You challenge. We read and contemplate, and we read again. Dear God, what would you have me know today? My love, move. Move, play, create, knowing that I am taking care of you. I can only guide you when you are moving. You have to embody your creator qualities for me to be able to co-create with you. Trust, joy, movement, creation, all from a place of full faith. I know you have it in your heart. Now bring it into the world, into you moving in the world. There is no rush, no urgency. In fact, you are not supposed to hurry. Not yourself, not your work, not the world. It is about moving deep into the moment, being fully immersed in what is, loving it, and choosing to see my hand in it. Take your eyes off of the future. This is not where your power lies. This is not where your heart lives. Your heart lives here, now. How can you infuse this moment with more love, more trust, more joy? And then move from there. Move. I have got you. I promise. Love, God. So that is very, very important for us to realize. And it is two things. It's the moving in itself, and it's the moving in full faith. Because, so first, the the moving itself. We are the masters of our experience and of our fate, and we have free will. Again, free will, it's not fully free, but we have the last say. We have the first and the last say. God is there to support us, to guide us with everything. And if we don't want that, He won't come in. We have the say in that. And because one of the universal laws is that God will not interfere with our choosing, we have to give the signal that we are willing to create and to change and to evolve. And by not moving, we are set in place. And a human being in the physical world with our mind, with our power in our mind, is a very, very solid force. We are a tiny force in comparison to God, but it's very solid the way that we're here in this moment. And God, you can picture it like a force, an intelligence that can move everything all at once, making it merge, making it come together, go out. So it's an incredible intelligence, but it cannot force us to do something that we have not initiated ourselves. For example, moving. So if I sit and doubt and ask and wait, not ask, but like, like wonder, like why isn't it different than it is right now? Instead of moving, whatever moving means in in my particular situation now, and then in the next situation, the next situation, and then for you, it's different. Moving can be stopping to obsess in your mind about something and going to the pool and reading a novel. That can be moving. Moving can be to just launch the program. Moving can be to find out, to pick something in your relationship and change it and make it better. Infuse a situation with a new energy. Moving can be everything and anything that is alive, that is enriched with something that comes out of your heart. And the opposite is standing still like a deer in front of headlights, trying in your mind to figure out whatever. What am I supposed to do? What's the right thing to do? Why is it not happening? Why? Waiting, wishing, instead of moving. Because with this amazing intelligence that can do everything and anything, it cannot yank us out of a solid place of not moving. It can, and sometimes it does, but that is very, very uncomfortable because that has to be a force that is very abrupt, very um, disruptive. And we know the stories of someone ignoring the signals, being inactive, being continuing to be a victim of their stories, and then an illness, for example, coming in. That is a disruptive force. That is God yanking you out of your inactivity, of your immobility. We don't want that. So what we want is God's support, God's co-creation with us as a guiding force where we move, we listen to our heart, we do what brings us joy, and we do that with a soft opening and a soft listening for guidance. And then it's not even that, at least not for me, for some people it might, but it's not that I will then do a thing and then I will hear God's whisper, like, no, go a little bit more left, do a little bit more of that. That's not how it is. It's a dream. It's a reel that's being shown to me on social media. And it's an idea. It's something that is taken away from me. Like, okay, so I have been moving here. Moving can be, for example, whatever. For example, I was in Bali for 4 months, and moving could have been, if at some point I got the clear message, the clear signal in my body and my feeling that my chapter in Bali is over and that I'm supposed to go back. So now I could have ignored that and could have just, stayed longer. And then one of the things that could have happened, which it's still of pretty gentle guidance, could be that my visa would not have been extended for whatever reason. God has his ways. That there he says, no, we're putting a stop to this now. I gave you the feeling 3 weeks ago. You're still not looking the truth in the eye that you're supposed to go back, you're still postponing the next chapter. So now I take away your visa. I would still be, it would a little bit more, like coming in and like, nope. But it would be a disruptive force kind of moving whoosh, against me. What we want is to move and to have that force guide us as we move. But for that, we have to move. So that's the one piece. And the second piece is how we move in faith and how we move not in faith. And I remember distinctly talking to my wonderful, beautiful mentor, Priyanka Venkatesh, about like I was kind of frustrated and I was like, well, what's true now? I have to hold up my end of the rope and, do my part, or I am supposed to surrender and trust that God is just divinely designing everything. So what is it of the two? Because I wasn't able to bring them together. And the thing that then dropped, because I had asked the question and then the wisdom dropped, and then Priyanka also reflected it back to me, is that yes, we are supposed to do our part, but we have to do it in the knowing that God has got us. Because moving as a human being in full faith looks very different than moving in not in full faith, in half faith, and sometimes a little bit of faith, but then still peeking and checking. Is it working? That's not full faith. And so even like on a very, very broad surface level, just think about it for a moment. If you stand, what's a good example? Skiing, perhaps, on the top of a mountain. They're like the little hilly things where you go down the mountain and then you have this little hilly thing. So you jump a little bit and you go down, and you have like a little slope that goes like this. So you can actually, like go up and down to the sides with your skiing, with your skis, with your ski. Um, and you have all kinds of fun stuff, and there are like super steep parts of the hill. And now imagine you stand at the top of this mountain, on the top of that mountain, you look down, and you know that going down, you are protected. There is a magic protection thing around you, and you will not get hurt. You will not get hurt. You are protected. How do you imagine yourself going down that hill? You will try out all the things. Why not? You're not going to get hurt. You know that. So might as well use all the fun things that are put in your way. Use it going down that hill. And that is a human being moving in full faith. Compared to, you don't know that you're protected. You're pretty sure that you're going to hurt yourself because all these other people are getting hurt. And you got hurt in the past. How do you go down there then? Not using all the fun stuff. If possible, go straight down, shortest way, safest way, slow. And that is the difference. So, and then now, on top of that, which I can't ski and I can snowboard, and I have broken a bone snowboarding. Let's just put that aside. That actually happens, which we can bring it back in and I can actually tell the story. Do you know how, and that's actually pretty on point, I feel. They say, and it's true, the universe does not hear no. So when we think, I don't want to get sick, I don't want to get sick, like everyone around me is sick and like in the cold, like and then during the fall time and winter time, and I don't want to get sick. The universe hears, I want to get sick, I want to get sick, I want to get sick. Sick, sick, sick. Illness, illness, illness. Or what's the thing that people say? Think. I don't want to go bankrupt. And when we think that over and over again, the frequency that the universe hears is bankrupt, because the universe is an abundant universe. It only hears positive. It only hears substance. It cannot hear the absence of something. That's not doesn't exist. So when it hears illness or bankruptcy, that's the only thing it understands. It can only answer with yes. Bankruptcy, yes. Illness, yes. So when I was going down that hill with my snowboard, about to break my bones, no, just one bone, collarbone. What I was thinking was, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. These were my thoughts. Well, guess what I did? Fell. I had a helmet on, so it's perfect, fine. But you know how when you cover your ears and you actually close them, you hear your voice from the inside? Turns out you hear all body sounds from the inside. So when you have a helmet on and that helmet has covered your ears, and then you break a bone, you hear it from the inside. So in my body, I heard, and my collarbone was smashed into many, many pieces, which the doctors had to pull together again, like make a little 3D puzzle, and then put a wire around in surgery so that now I have a functioning shoulder. So, moving in full faith doesn't invite fear. Us fearing something makes us move very different. Energetically, it pulls a bunch of crap to us. And also, we're stiff and we're careful and we don't want to make a mistake, and we kind of expect that we'll get hurt. And that is a whole different way of living, a way of showing up into a conversation, or to a date, to a live stream. In full faith, I am just free. I know that the how, the when, the what exactly, none of my business. And there's no fear, no threat. There's no danger whatsoever. The only job that I have is to show up as me in full faith. And that is me doing my part and me knowing that God has got me. Because when I know that God has got me, then I do show up differently, in a different way, in a whole different energy, a whole different person. And then when it comes to launching programs and having ideas about life choices, when we have full faith that we are guided, that we are protected, then we're not guided by our fear. And then we create more freely. We have more aligned ideas about life choices. I remember when I was in a relationship, and it was a beautiful relationship with a beautiful, beautiful man and a wonderful human being. And he loved me and I loved him, and it was lovely. And there was something missing. It was not quite right, but there were so many beautiful things about it. And I had this inkling thought, like, it's not the right thing. It's not the thing forever. And the fear of, oh my God, what if this is a mistake? The fear of it being a wrong decision crippled me, and I could not make that decision. And that was actually the reason why I went to Peru on this ayahuasca retreat, because I was like, I can see the answer. I don't know what to do. I have to do something crazy and help myself by doing the most out there thing that I know of, which at the time was ayahuasca. So I went to Peru, drank ayahuasca, got my answer. And what happened there with the under the influence, not of ayahuasca actually, because during ayahuasca, you're not in your body. Your consciousness is journeying through the universe. But in the second week, we drank another plant medicine. It's called Huachuma San Pedro, and it helps you integrate the insights and crazy revelations that came from ayahuasca. And so in the second week, I was under the influence of Huachuma, and there I was in full truth. And there, all illusions were gone. No fear, no doubt, no illusions, only truth. And so I had the experience to sense, feel, know truth without being distracted by fear, without fear layering this truth, which before just didn't allow me to see the truth, which it lived inside of me. When I was under the influence of that plant of Huachuma, I I saw that truth. I knew that truth so clearly. And I also knew in that moment that truth has been inside of me for quite a while. But I could not allow myself to see it. I could not see past my fear. And so there I had the stark contrast of me looking at my life, making a decision in full faith, in only truth, versus before knowing, but fearing so much and therefore not making the right choice, just being unable to make a choice. And so that is the second piece. Moving and moving in full faith. Okay, you read to close. Dear God, what would you have me know today? My love, move, play, create, knowing that I am taking care of you. I can only guide you when you are moving. You have to embody your creator qualities for me to be able to co-create with you. Trust, joy, movement, creation, all from a place of full faith. I know you have it in your heart. Now bring it into the world, into you moving in the world. There is no rush, no urgency. In fact, you are not supposed to hurry. Not yourself, not your work, not the world. It is about moving deep into the moment, being fully immersed in what is, loving it, and choosing to see my hand in it. Take your eyes off of the future. This is not where your power lies. This is not where your heart lives. Your heart lives here now. How can you infuse this moment with more love, more trust, more joy, and then move from there? Move. I have got you. I promise. Love, God. All right, my loves. This is a long one. I love you, and I'll see you soon.